Hi, and welcome to Scams and Fraud, How to Spot Them and Stop Them. This video was made by KnowledgeFlow Cybersafety Foundation to help you protect yourself against all kinds of scams and fraud, including online and digital scams. This video will help you detect fraud in its various forms and correct or respond to fraud attempts when they happen. Let's start with a quick introduction to KnowledgeFlow. We are a Toronto-based national nonprofit, and our mission is to make the world, but particularly Canadians, unhackable. We do this through training youth, seniors, new Canadians, and community-based groups about online safety. At KnowledgeFlow, we believe everyone should be able to participate in life online, and we want everyone to have the tools and knowledge to do so safely. Obviously, there are risks involved with being online, but like any other activity, if you're prepared, you can manage those risks. So let's get started making you unhackable. This video will follow these 8 topics. We'll break down fraud, show you how to detect the main types of scams, how to protect against them, and how to respond to fraud attempts when they do happen. So any given fraud typically has one of 3 possible goals. There's theft, which is immediate or short term, and it includes bank access, intercepted e-transfers, cash, gift cards, crypto payments, etc. Any kind of monetary theft from you as the victim. Then there's identity theft, which includes stealing money from banks, stores, etc. in your name. Then there's synthetic identity theft, which uses pieces of information from various people to make a new identity to, again, steal from banks, stores, etc. So regardless of the goal of a specific scam, the target, as in you, are left with the long-term and costly consequences. Fraud generates huge revenues here in Canada, but also around the world. By the end of June in this year, 2022, Canadians had already lost over $242 million, and this is vastly underreported. Keep in mind that fraud is rarely personal. For the most part, fraudsters throw their scam attempt out there and see who they can catch in the net. That's why one type of fraud is called phishing. Most scams are run by staff in large call centers, and they utilize bots in many cases, not even humans. Fraud skills have been honed and refined over the years, and it's not nearly as easy to spot a scam as it used to be. They used to be pretty easy to spot. Luckily, fraud is essentially the same regardless of the method of contact. So whether they contact you by phone, text message, email, in person, etc. As technology has advanced, it has become more complicated, but the key to remember is that the number on your call display, the email address it came from, etc., is now meaningless. Signs of authority, legitimacy like logos, brand names, websites, etc., are also meaningless. The fact that the person on the phone or in the email has some of your personal information, your name, your phone number, your address, for example, is meaningless. The appearance of authenticity, like the correct department name, spelling and grammar, layout, they're all meaningless. You get the picture. It's no longer enough to just be on the lookout for typos and poor grammar. So let's start with our first type of scam. We call these fear-based scams. They typically include a sense of authority, so they might use the department logo, department name, etc. There'll be a feeling of legitimacy. They might already have some of your personal information, like your phone number. They will probably include something official sounding, like a badge, file, case, officer number, etc. There will be a sense of urgency or secrecy, the requirement of immediate payment, typically with a link to pay or receive money. And they may even include more than one person. So, for example, the scam may start with a clerk, for example, who passes you on to a supervisor, or a secretary who hands you over to a manager, that kind of thing. So just when you were thinking you would never believe that first example because it mentions the United States, look how official this one looks from the Department of Justice. They even got the name of the RCMP duty commissioner right. So if you went and Googled some of this information, it would appear to be legitimate. So variations on this type of scam can include an emergency scam. So you might get contacted by someone who is supposedly a lawyer, hospital, bail bondsman, etc. Also called the grandparent scam, which we'll discuss more in a few minutes. The call or the email may come from the Canada Revenue Agency, Border or Immigration Services, RCMP, OPP, etc., bank or credit card company. There are endless variations of this type of scam. Sometimes they include a link or attachment, and sometimes they give you a phone number or other means to contact them. Additional variations can include the fact that it comes from a bank or a credit card number. Usually it's from the fraud department. This possibly the most famous are called emergency scams. Quite often it's specifically targets seniors, and it's called the grandparent scam. So this one may include a contact from a lawyer, hospital, bail bondsman, etc. They can include various offenses. They often mention fines, arrests, bail, etc. So that's one type of scam. A second type is called a transaction scam. These change things up a little bit. They usually lead you to initiate contact. So your personal information may be the ultimate target, but they usually involve sending or receiving payments for immediate theft. These will also feature legitimacy, so a logo, a legitimate company name, possibly some of your personal information. They'll require immediate payment with links to pay or receive funds or to fix an issue with your account. A link to receive funds may sound safe, but the link will likely request you to log into your bank account, where the scammers learn your account information and passwords, or they might request that you enter personal information in order to receive the payment. Variations on this type of scam can include rental ads, where fake landlords or real estate agents require deposits or application fees before viewing a property. They can be ticket or fine payments or even refunds. So a fake parking or driving infraction, refunds for common utility companies, phone companies, you name it, scammers will impersonate it. They might require shipping fees. So scammers will request a shipping fee to be paid up front when you think you're supposedly purchasing or winning or being given an item. Investment scams typically involve a fraudster posing as a legitimate investor or investment firm, but they may also take the form of someone who supposedly has an inside secret or some amazing opportunity. These types of scams sometimes take a longer approach, and they may start with small sums of money and often provide small returns until the victim invests a significant amount of money. Copycat websites or social media accounts are another option. Fraudsters will purchase or create accounts that are extremely close to the same spelling as a legitimate company. This is known as typo squatting. The fraudsters hope that you don't notice a tiny detail like an L instead of a 1 or a hyphen between two words in a URL or account name. So remember this when we talk about ad blocking software in a minute. You may access the fake account when conducting an online search and clicking on the malicious ad, or by accidentally typing the name incorrectly. On social media, fraudsters will sometimes contact the real company's customers in the chat or post a fake ad for a contest, sales, prizes, etc. Because the name is so similar to the real account, victims don't even realize that they're replying to a fake account. So contests, rewards, that kind of thing. You may be notified that you've won a contest, receiving a prize. The scammer may request payment for shipping or taxes or handling. They may require you to provide your name, address, bank account, information, etc. in order to send you the prize. Online contests are often scams designed to get you to provide personal information by completing an entry form or even a ballot. Fraudsters may also send an invoice or a receipt to confirm a fake purchase with a link to cancel the payment. You may receive a debt collection notice with a link to dispute or pay the phony debt. So a note about scams that arrive by email. If you hover your cursor over the sender, the full name will appear. In this case, the sender is not actually from Norton or McAfee. It's a Gmail address. So this email should be deleted without any further investigation. If you really wanted to investigate this, you could search both company names and see that they are indeed separate companies. So an email from Norton wouldn't mention McAfee. Another sneaky scammer trick is to use 1-808 as a phone number, which sounds like a 1-800 number, but it is in fact a Hawaii area code. Check out our KnowledgeFlow Scam Hall of Shame and feel free to send us examples to add to our collection. Transaction scams may take advantage of current world events or a local crisis, so be on the lookout for fake charity scams after a natural disaster. Our next type of scam is romance scams. And you might be thinking, well, I'm not at risk of this because I'm not seeking a relationship. Keep in mind, knowing about these scams may help a family member or a friend. So romance scams are in the top 2 scams based on dollars lost across all demographic groups regularly throughout the year. These prey on our human and psychological need for connection and relationships. They're often conducted by teams of people working together so that emails and texts get answered at all times of night and day. They often have a script to follow that's been developed over many years and many successful frauds. This type of scam typically begins on a dating app or social media, etc. And then the relationship moves to direct texting, phone calls, chat apps, etc. A hallmark of a romance scam is how quickly there's a sense of meeting your perfect match. Deep feelings are often expressed very early on, often without having seen or speaking directly with the victim. Other hallmarks include the fact that the other person can't meet in person for various reasons. Maybe they travel for work, maybe they live too far away, etc. In-person meetings may get planned, but then they're canceled due to emergencies, lack of funds for travel, etc. In many cases, the fraudster claims that their microphone, video camera, or phone is not working, so they can't talk and must type through email or text. This is often used to cover the excuse that, this is often used as an excuse to cover up the fact that the fraud is being carried out by a team of people. Sometimes, rather than requesting money, the scammer may ask for personal information or banking information to supposedly send gifts to the victim. In some cases, the scammer may convince the victim to send gift cards or to loan them money in order to travel to meet the victim or to deal with a personal emergency. Fraudsters may use a language like, let's pool our resources to buy property to start a new life together. Some romance scams do involve in-person meetings, so this is not a guarantee that the relationship is genuine. Some scams may begin as a romance scam and then morph into a different type, like identity theft or an investment scam or an extortion scam. A new variation includes the wrong number contact. So the victim gets contacted seemingly at random, and then a relationship ensues. So a note about extortion. In many cases, the romance scam evolves into an extortion scam. Once the victim has trusted the fraudster enough to maybe send intimate photos or videos, the fraudster demands payment. They might even send photos first to gain your trust. The scammer may convince the victim that live streaming or private video channels are more secure. These are not safer and they can still be recorded by the fraudster. Complying with an extortion threat may only escalate the fraudster's demands. So consider contacting your local victim services provider and a police department for support. The next type of scam are what we call tech scams. These can include fake technology, and this relies on a lack of awareness or technical understanding. And in some cases, they involve real technology, and this relies on a lack of security measures and practices. So this type of scam relies on a lack of awareness. So variations of this can include a tech support scam. This often appears as a pop-up. The scammer fools the victim into thinking that their device is infected. The fraudster may ask for payment to install software or to remove a virus, which doesn't actually exist. In other cases, the fraudster will ask the victim to allow them remote access to the device by clicking on a link, going to a website, or entering a password. Once they have control, the fraudster can install malware, copy information like passwords, etc. Scareware is what's known as fake ransomware. It also typically appears as a pop-up. This scam relies on the victim believing that their files have in fact been encrypted, copied, or stolen, and that they can only be returned if they pay a ransom. Malware scams can include genuine ransomware scams when a victim's files are actually locked and copied. Malware can also include programs that access the victim's files to find important personal information and passwords, track the victim's keystrokes in order to capture passwords and other personal information, or even botnet malware, where the victim's device is used as part of a network of devices to benefit the criminal. These pop-ups can appear on any device using any platform. Okay, so how do we protect against scams? Passwords are often the first and last line of defense between you and a scammer. The first thing to remember is you have to use a unique password for each account. Don't repeat passwords on multiple accounts. If a password gets compromised in a data breach, scammers will attempt that password across a suite of accounts to try to gain access to more accounts. Your passwords need to be long and strong. By including capitals, numbers, and characters, it drastically increases the complexity of the password. This makes what's known as brute force attempts at cracking passwords much more difficult for scammers. If an account sets a password character limit, be very cautious of trusting that account with personal information. By using a password manager, you only need to remember one master password. The password manager programs will generate strong passwords and keep them protected. They can also be used to store the persona information and fake answers to security questions that you create when you make an account. Whenever it's possible, two-factor authentication should be enabled. This will require the account password plus a one-time code or some other temporary factor to allow account access. If the account in question stores sensitive information, particularly financial information, but doesn't allow two-factor authentication, consider switching service providers. 3 of the best ways to protect yourself against scams are our unhackable habits. These are to be private, to be secure, and to be skeptical. So to be private, you really need to protect your personal information. You can reduce the likelihood that fraudsters can target you by limiting the information you share on social media. Use a persona rather than real personal information when completing account registrations. Provide fake answers when establishing account security questions. Shred your bills and receipts. These things can all reduce how much information is available to fraudsters and make it much more difficult for them to target you. So to be skeptical, always resist a request that has a sense of urgency, fear, or the request for secrecy. Always question authority. Don't rely on logos, company names, badge numbers, files numbers, etc. Reject any request that involves sending or receiving payments in any form. Refuse to even confirm personal information, let alone supply it. So to be secure, a healthy dose of awareness and skepticism when opening emails, answering the phone, or reading texts can go a long way towards prevention. Resist when presented with that sense of urgency. A legitimate request will rarely ask you to act quickly. Always question the authority presented in the email. Be suspicious of all logos, not just blurry ones. For example, don't assume that fraudsters will have spelling mistakes or poor grammar in their text or their speech. Just because the caller or the sender has some of your personal information is not a cause to trust that they are who they say they are. Knowing your account number, name, address, banking institution, or any other correct details is not a true sign of legitimacy. Never confirm or provide your personal information of any kind, even if it seems insignificant. Don't click on links or attachments. Even file types that seem harmless can now be utilized by fraudsters to install malware. This includes things like PDF files and image files. If you're concerned about a potential message, don't call the number or reply to the email address provided. Refer to the back of your credit card or find the number or email on a paper invoice or a bill, for example. Other good habits include setting up auto deposit for e-transfers, so you're not relying on passwords and security questions. Check the activity on your accounts regularly to spot issues as soon as they happen. Review your credit score and set up credit alerts through Equifax and TransUnion. Never click on a link or an attachment. To verify the legitimacy of a caller, emailer, or texter, call the number on your bill or your statement. You can no longer trust your call display. Regardless of the type of phone you use, even the old-fashioned ones, they're subject to spoofing. Scammers can impersonate any organization with any number. In most cases, the number on the display will even be the right number. The sign of legitimacy and authority is simply not trustworthy with today's technology. In fact, if there's only one thing you take away from this video, it should be to tell every senior in your life about spoofing. Calls from supposed police officers, hospitals, lawyers, etc. may not be legitimate. So this sign is simply not trustworthy. Never be embarrassed to ask someone else whom you trust for their opinion. One of the best protection methods is to simply run and update your built-in antivirus software. When your device notifies you of a new version, install it immediately. The software is often updated because of a newly detected vulnerability patch. There's almost never a need to buy additional software or to pay for extra protection. There are many free anti-malvertising, anti-malware software programs available for various platforms. There are on-demand free software like Malwarebytes, for example, AdBlock Plus, Privacy Badger, and uBlock Origin are all great examples. When you install ad blocking software, you have to be sure to uncheck the box that allows acceptable ads. This will ensure that all ads are blocked. When you're using a trusted site, the extension can always be disabled on a per visit or on a permanent basis. Also, never allow remote access to your device. Be extra cautious when using public Wi-Fi or public computers, like at the library. Make sure you log off of each account before ending your session. By blocking ads through things like AdBlock Plus, you prevent being victimized by malvertising, which is where scammers purchase ads on reputable sites and utilize their ads in search results and news feeds to take advantage. In some cases, they make replica sites, like for shopping or banking, which you access by clicking on their malicious ad. In other cases, fraudsters direct you to a tech support pop-up or some other scam. If you do receive a pop-up, don't click anything, including the X to close the window. Power off your device and then run a scan. A word about HTTPS. You'll see a lot of advice saying only shop on HTTPS sites. So HTTPS refers to the address of the website. You'll also notice usually a padlock or a lock icon in the website address. So yes, HTTPS is safer than HTTP because it means the information between you and the receiving site is encrypted. However, the site itself can still be malicious. So definitely don't enter information or make payments through a site that is HTTP only. Only enter information or payments if the site is HTTPS. But remember that HTTPS does not mean that the site doesn't install malware, spy on users, sell your data, etc., etc. Okay, here's one last scam example. This particular scam made it through the email spam filter and through several malware screening programs and ended up in the box of a cybersecurity professional. So this is proof that no matter how much technology you use, the best protection is your awareness and the unhackable habits that you develop. So with this particular email, you would have noticed a few things. The email has an attachment. So in a PDF, like in this one, it's supposed to be a more secure type of file for documents, as opposed to, say, Word or a page file. It locks down the document so that others can't edit it, and it's commonly used in business, education, and personally. But that's exactly what makes PDFs a prime target for hackers and bad actors. The email contains the password for you to use to open the PDF. Never use a password that's been given to you in any situation. If it has been provided to you, it isn't really a password at all. You may also have noticed that the email comes from rbcweb.com. This address is not the legit RBC banking website name. But what makes this email especially tricky is that it doesn't request info or information, or even to click a link. There are no typos or grammar errors either. For sure, that PDF attachment contains malware. The number one unhackable habit to develop is to be skeptical at all times. Specifically for banking, make sure you have your multi-factor or two-factor authentication enabled. Set up your auto deposit for e-transfers and check your bank account regularly. So correcting or reacting after fraud has taken place can be very challenging. So whether you become the victim of identity theft or you've been defrauded financially through a particular scam, it's going to take time and effort to report it and correct it. Unfortunately, in some cases, money lost to scams is simply not recoverable. However, police services are sometimes able to track and recover the stolen funds, so it is important to report the crime. Even if they can't recover your funds, The police will share what they learn from your particular case to educate others. Depending on what information was compromised and whether money was actually lost, this will impact how you need to react. Now, you don't need to write any of this down. This information is all available on our website at knowledgeflow.org, and if you go to resources. So the first thing you need to do is change your passwords. Set up two-factor authentication on all your accounts. Make sure you use best practices for passwords. Run your antivirus program and monitor all of your financial accounts regularly. Check your credit report. Review your accounts and devices and secure them. Collect evidence of the fraud if possible. That will include taking screenshots, printing and saving receipts, bills, invoices, emails, even save voice messages if you have them. Who you need to notify will again depend on your situation. Most likely your bank, your credit card company, possibly local police, definitely the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre for data collection at least. Equifax and TransUnion set up credit alerts on their platforms. Also the platform where the scam happened, if possible. You may also want to consider contacting a support group or victim services for your specific area. Even if you haven't lost money, contact the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre. They do track fraud statistics and share fraud information with the RCMP, OPP, and local police services. So in terms of resources to learn more, on our website, we have a library of tip sheets, which are available in multiple languages, and more get added regularly. So please check those out. We also offer the ultimate guide to securing your devices and accounts, and we have our Scam Hall of Shame. We have a YouTube channel with other videos and information, and we highly recommend you check out the Clinic to End Tech Abuse. They have some fabulous resources as well, created by their volunteers. Be sure to tell others when you see a scam, particularly seniors. Email us with ideas for resources, scam examples, questions you'd like us to answer, and sign up for our newsletter from this site. So please stay in touch and stay unhackable.